We are now recording. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I think everybody's here, and as people show up, we'll just begin to let them in. Um, Welcome to our first annual Meet the Teachers meeting. We have a great lineup tonight. Just a few housekeeping things. Please keep yourself muted while the faculty are doing their presentations. It just makes it easier for all of us. If you do have a question, at the end of each faculty's presentation, we'll pause for a few minutes. You can unmute yourself and ask questions, or you can put your question in the chat and I'll be sure and read it out loud. Um, we've got quite a few people presenting tonight, so I think we'll try and limit it to about 15 minutes each and go in the order it was presented on the sign up. I'm trying to see, is there anything else? Yep, I think that's about it. We're going to get started with Teresa Coates, and I am not going to attempt to make any introductions. I am just going to let the instructors introduce themselves since that's why we're here to hear them. So Teresa, I'll let you take over. Thank
All
you.
right. Hi, good evening. My name is Teresa Coates. I am really excited to be here. I will be coming out to Minnesota for the show from Oregon. So that's where I am based and that's where I'm at right now. And I am really excited. This will be my first time, and I've heard a ton about this show, and I'm really excited to be here. So let me show you a few things of what we're going to be making. So I have a quilt coat pattern that is the thing that is probably the thing that most people know me for. And we'll be doing that. So we're going to be making a quilt coat, which is super popular. They've been really going wild for quite a while now. And the coat that I did, let me switch my cameras here. My coat pattern is the elemental coat, and it is specifically designed for quilters or for people who don't sew apparel. So it is really simple. There aren't a bunch of curves in it. We make it really easy to put together, and we should be able to get much of it done in the class, which will be really fun. So we're going to be doing this class. I'll show you how to put it in a zipper. I'll show you how to put it in the sleeves. We'll talk about layout, all of that stuff that kind of confuses people when they want to do a quilt coat, and all the things that you can do that aren't necessarily a quilt with this that'll give you the same look but not cutting up a precious quilt. So we'll be doing that one. That one I'm really excited about. People always love this class, and we just have a ton of fun. So let me show you some of the other things we're going to be doing. So we're going to do this class, and then I'm also going to be teaching you how to do a couple of, oh, here went my project. A couple of by Annie bags. So this one is the drop zone. And this one is the large. This one is the small. Okay, so this is the pattern. And I will
Mhm.
have some kits, but you're welcome to bring your own quilted fabrics. There'll be some prep work beforehand, and I will have some kits available uh, through my website. And we'll talk about that later when it gets closer. So this is another project. It's really great. It zips up, super, super small, and then opens up into a big tray. So I love it for my Wonder Clips because it's a great way to keep a whole bunch of them and keep them nice and neat. All right, so that's one project. Then we're also going to do this project from by Annie, which is the side hustle, which is a cute little crossbody bag and has a couple little zippers. So you can hold some stuff in it while you go for a little walk. I really love this bag. So we'll talk about how to do the zippers, how to sew through this stuff, how to make it a little bit easier, and some tricks that I've learned just about making construction a little bit easier. So if you've wanted to make by Annie bags, but you've been a little intimidated, this will be a great class. And so will the drop zone. Those are both good for beginners, especially the drop zone. If you've never touched a by Annie bag, that's the class for you. All right, then I'll be doing the Fancy Fox, which is adorable. So the Fancy Fox is a pattern from Elizabeth Hartman, and I teach a lot of Elizabeth Hartman patterns. I like her stuff a lot, but she has some little tricks that you should learn if you're going to put together her patterns. They are designed by an engineer, and so they are very, very precise. And I've got some tips on being able to put them together so that they actually work out right. So we're going to start with this one for the class so that you can walk out with your own little fancy fox blocks. Get started. You can make the whole quilt, or you can take those techniques and use any of her other patterns as well. So I'm excited about that one. And then lastly, I'm going to be doing a self-binding blanket. So this is the other thing that people often know me for, is working with Cuddle. And so I'll be teaching how to work with Cuddle fabrics and how to do an easy self-binding blanket that is much, much easier than you think it'll be. It's a very quick project, and they're just super, yeah, they're super lovely and nice and soft. So I'm excited to show you how to do that one. And we'll be making just a small baby size blanket, but you can absolutely make them big, big too, which is what I do. So we will be doing that. And all the patterns I have copies of if you need to have them. We'll have kits for some of the projects, and you should be able to walk out with a mostly finished project for each of these classes, which I'm excited about. So that's the overview. What else do you want to know?
I
This
don't know if
Alex,
you mentioned that you would be having the Janome machines in your classes, so
Yes, I will
just
be having
wanted to bring
Janome.
that up. And particularly with the By Annie bags, I know sometimes you'll need specialty feet to do the bags. So I assume, I know we'll work with Janome and get what we
Yeah.
need to make it as easy as possible for folks.
Mhm.
So if they've never worked with By Annie before, it'll be a good experience for them.
Yeah, Genomes are great for the bags. They're really, really good
Hmm.
for them. Yeah, they've got the strength, and like you said, they've got lots of feet to be able to do the stuff that we need. Yeah.
What's the 1-2 clothing, quilted clothing class? Is that, I see it on the schedule. Did you talk about that?
That is, I think that's the lecture that we're doing. So
Oh,
we do a
lecture.
Yes.
lecture as well
Okay.
about quilt coats in general and about quilted apparel. So using upcycling quilts as well as piecing your own, and using lots of other different fabrics that you can use, like cheaters and that sort of thing, to create your own apparel and coats. Yeah, we'll talk about the whole range from batting to patterns are available to how to make closures and all sorts of customization of it. Yeah.
Thanks.
So that'll be
this
fun.
is Alex, the show director. Would you explain which of your classes are more suitable for people who are complete beginners? And if there's some of them that are maybe a little bit more challenging for people who have a little bit more experience sewing?
Got it. So I actually do design the quilt coat pattern to be accessible to anybody. So if you have never sewn, we're still going to be fine with this. If you're a brand new sewer or you have a little experience, it's going to be good. If you are an experienced sewer, the quilt coat will go together super duper easy. So we'll say the self-binding blanket is a great one to introduce you to working with minky fabrics. So if they have intimidated you before, you were a little afraid of them, this will be the class. And it is a super easy one too, that you don't need a lot of skills to be able to do it. Really, you have to be able to pin. That's kind of it. So I'll show you all the other tricks and we'll be able to do it. I'll even show you how to pin, because that's what we do. And that was a great one because it sets you up to learn some skills on taking that to create other things with cuddle fabrics. So
Hmm.
that's kind of my specialty, and I really love working with them. So you can make all sorts of things, and pillows and blankets and stuffed animals, and yeah, kind of the possibilities are endless. So that one is a great one for beginners. The drop zone, let me switch the camera back over here. So this is the self-binding blanket. So this one is super duper easy. This is really, it's just kind of 3 steps that we do, and then all of a sudden you have a blanket. But it's really about learning how to handle the fabrics. This one, this is the drop zone. If you've never worked with any sort of bag making or by Annie products, this will be the one to get started with, because this one is really, really basic. We'll talk about all of the things that make her bags different. And it is fairly easy to do, and we will definitely walk through all of the steps. So that should not be any sort of an issue. And then the other one, so this one, I will say the side hustle, if you have worked with Biani bags, this is a great one. If you've done a few of the, like the Easy Does It, or you've done a drop zone, you've done some of her simple ones, it would be best to have done a couple of them before we tackle this one. I'll still walk you through all the steps because it's what I do. It's what I like to do. So this one is a little bit more complicated, and you can tell it is because this one has 3 zippers. It has a strap. It has the
Hmm.
buckle. So there's more to this. So if you're interested in making the purses more than the little craft patterns, this is a great class to be able to take this one as well. And then the Fancy Fox is really, this is a great one if you are just getting started doing quilting in general. If you want to learn how to piece accurately, how to cut accurately. We're going to spend a lot of time talking about that because it's what makes these blocks go together right. but it's also just a really important aspect of quilt making is being able to keep, your seams straight, get an accurate 1/4 inch, cut things right, all of that stuff. So this will be a really, really good one for beginners who are looking to kind of up their quilt making skills. Is that helpful?
It's great.
I think
So
so.
just so people know, if they do the fancy fox, would they expect to take home one finished block, or how would that work?
Well, we'll get through at least one, and it'll just depend on how fast people work. We'll get through one, and then they'll kind of be on their own to make as many as they want to in that class period. Yeah.
And it sounds like some of those other classes that people would almost get through the project by the end of the class. So
That's always the
no
goal.
whips to take home. Maybe just a little finishing.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, that's always the goal, is to try to get to a finished project so that you can actually take it home and not have to spend hours and hours finishing it. Because, yeah, if you're like me, they kind of go in a pile and it's real hard to finish later. So I try really hard to make sure that we can get to a finishing point in class. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. I don't want to hog the questions. Does anybody else listening have any questions that they'd like to ask about the classes?
You check the chat. Oh. Mm.
Cynthia asked if Therese has the machines. We covered that. Yes, we are going to have machines, so that's a huge plus.
And
I
there will
think
be kits
that's
available. So kits aren't required to get through me, but I will have them so that if you don't want to go track down all of the things for the project, I'll have some too.
great.
Right?
Well, if there's any other questions, we can hold them till the end. I think we'll move on to our next presenter.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Teresa.
Mm-hmm.
And we have Maday Delgado. Are you with us, Maday? I saw you joined.
She is, but you need to unmute Maday.
Hi,
There you
everyone.
are.
My name is Maday, and this is my 5th show with the Minnesota Quilters since 2018. It is one of my favorite shows ever, and I'm very happy to be back. You're probably going to get sick of me this year. Uh, I am going to have a special exhibit. It's called Trash Talk, Sustainability and Focus. As many of you may know, that is the focus of my work. I don't consider myself a quilter, so when Teresa was talking about the things that she is teaching and doing, I can honestly tell you that I have made her coat, and I have made two, one from an old quilt and one from new materials. And I will tell you, it is the easiest pattern in the market. It is one, I mean, I don't even, Teresa and I just passed each other at QuiltCon a couple of weeks ago, but she doesn't even know who I am, but I do know who she is. And if you have a chance, if you want to make a coat, this is the class for you. She is amazing, and her pattern is absolutely the best in the market. So yes, going back to my trash talk is going to be a special exhibit. It's going to be a moving exhibit at this point. I had it in Madison in September of 2025. And then I'm going to have the actual lecture is going to be during our fashion show for Trash Talk. And I have 5 workshops that I'm doing. 2 sashiko, which is we're going to be using a panel that already comes pre-printed. And then we're going to also draft our at least 2 designs the same class. I have a Boro Perspective workshop. That one is focused on turning rescue textiles and scraps into texture panels. And of course, many of you know how much I love sashiko and boro from the Japanese aesthetic. And I plan to continue working on that. So I have some really cool stuff to show you. Then I have the art of improvisational curves. This session is dedicated to exploring flowing organic designs that you can use in quilt making, making your coat, making your bags, anything that you might enjoy for your home as an expression of your artistic journey. And then I'm going to have improv color play. different techniques using straight stitching. And of course, if you want to throw some curves in there, I will leave it up to you. But we are designing, coming up with different ways of putting scraps together. And finally, we added a really sort of like a very special class. We are doing the art of the log cabin block. I'm going to bring a sample that is a giant block, or we're going to be working in smaller blocks that people can get accomplished during our class time together. I'm also going to be bringing some denim. There's no charge for that, but I'm going to bring some denim for the log cabin class in case some of my students might like to include it in there. As always, I want people to explore what they want to say with their work. There are no patterns for you to worry about. I do love hand stitching, so I'm going to be showing you quite a bit of that, but I am not telling people that that's the only way to be creative. So you have to rest your hands and create in a way that is organic and sustainable for you and your creative practice. My website is sustainabletextiledesign.com. You can also find me on Instagram, and you can find me everywhere. I'm just like a bad penny. But I'm very excited to be coming back. This is one of the most amazing shows, I think, in the country. And I hope people really get to know the Minnesota quilters as much as I have. So thank you for having me.
Thank you, Maday. That was a lovely for the show. That was perfect. I lost.
There's a lot. There's a lot. So what I have done is I put photos in our chat so that you can have a little bit of an idea of what's coming. And I really hope to see some of you there.
Well, we're looking forward to having you. Any questions?
I just wanted to add in that the log cabin class, which is on the Saturday afternoon, will have machines in the room.
Are we gonna do is Janome? Can we use the Janome ones?
Yes,
Okay.
because that's the room that Teresa will be teaching in, but she will be lecturing that afternoon. So that frees the room up. And obviously we want to have the rooms full for the entire show because we can't have machines sitting silent when they could be humming along. So you'll be able to do your class in there, which will give people the opportunity to work with. And you're very familiar with those machines as well. So it's kind of the perfect fit. The only sad thing is that I will be walking around shouting at people and not sitting at the machine sewing, which makes me very sad, but we can't have everything.
So if you think of a question after the show, after I don't know, some days beyond this evening, my email is tinyquilter@gmail.com. And I like to joke that that's the only tiny thing about me, my email address. So you can always reach me if you have questions.
Great. And they can also always send questions to faculty@mnquilt.org or show director. We will make sure you get them.
Yes, I am very excited to be back. I
We're
think
very
it's going
glad to
be-
have you back. You always bring a good crowd with you, so that's perfect.
Thank you so much.
So just to clarify for everybody listening, which of the classes that you're teaching will be machining classes? Because some of them are, but most of them are handwork.
Yes. So very good question. The improv color play is a machine class. The curve piecing without templates is a machine class. The log cabin is a machine class.
So a mixture of hand sewing and also machining as well.
Yes. But I have
And
some really cool samples to bring you. In fact, there is one that took me 8 years to finish, and I brought a small sample of it when I started teaching there in 2018. So it's finally finished after all these years.
Oh, that's cool.
It will be part of the exhibit, and it's double-sided.
Oh, neat.
And it weighs probably 10 to 15 pounds.
Okay. Well, that'll be fun to hang. No, I'm
Yeah.
kidding.
Well, it did survive the 3 days of the Madison Quilt Show. So
Okay.
I am
Yes. So
very
it's already been
optimistic.
through that. So,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
That'll be great. Well, I should point out that Madai's first class in Sashiko filled up already. So we have opened a second session on Saturday morning. So that'll be great. And I think that one's already started to fill too. So,
Yeah, that is also filling quite quickly. The one on the I'm trying to think, is it on the Wednesday or on it's on the Thursday, isn't it? I'm making things up. It's on the Thursday. That filled within 3 or 4 days.
mhm.
So that's why we asked Maday to do an extra day and do another Sashiko class, and also to add in the log cabin as well.
Yeah. You might quite literally get sick of me a little bit.
Never.
I guess that works both ways, though. You might get sick of
Right.
me, so you know.
Yeah. I'm very excited. And there's wonderful teachers that come every year. So I am in their great company.
Does
Great.
anybody that's listening in have any questions at this time for Maday?
Make sure you say hi when you see me stitching in odd places.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. You have a wonderful week.
You too. Next up, we have our two NACQJ judges, Nancy and Kate, who are going to talk to you about the classes they're presenting.
Well, hi, I'm Nancy, and I am thrilled to be teaching with my friend Kate. She's an awesome teacher. I actually took this class, the 2-day Introduction to Quilt Judging seminar. I actually took this class with Kate and another instructor when I was trying to figure out if I wanted to teach this class in the future. And the answer was, oh, yeah, I do. So Kate really knocked it out of the park there. If you haven't heard about this, this is a class that's for anybody who thinks they might want to be a judge, somebody who just wants to improve their quilting. It's great for people that are putting on a show. It's a very comprehensive class. One thing it will do that we hear that time and time again from our students is that this class makes you a better quilter. Whether or not you actually become a judge, it's going to help you in your quilting life. The thing that I love about this class is we get to teach it in person. So students get to look at quilts, touch quilts, fondle quilts, ask questions in real time of the instructors. And if if you're like me, I have a little bit of a hard time learning from online sources. And I I need to have my person in a chair and I need to have an instructor in front of me and I need to see what everybody's talking about at the same time. This is this is the big benefit for this class is being able to see and touch and feel and ask questions. It's a really fun class. This is this is no stress at all. If you are interested in improving your quilting, if you think you might want to be a judge at some time, or if you just want to know what's going through the judge's mind when they're looking at your quilts, and you think, what in the world did that judge see there that I didn't see or didn't do or whatever? What was she thinking about? This is where you find out those secrets. And the second class we're going to teach together, I'm going to introduce my friend Kate to talk about the next class that we're teaching.
Okay. Nancy, you didn't tell where you live, where you're from.
Oh, I live in New Mexico, outside of Santa Fe, up in the mountains.
Oh, lovely.
And right now I'm coming to you from sunny Florida.
Okay. I am Kate Eeklema. I live part of the year in Minnesota and part of the year right now I'm in Big Sky, Montana, where it is much too warm and we don't have enough snow. I I have been a member of Minnesota Quilters since probably the mid 1980s. And I wasn't living in Minnesota then, but I joined the guild so I could go to the wonderful show every year. I drove from North Dakota to go to the Minnesota show back in the 80s and 90s. It is a fantastic show. And as Nancy said, I have been teaching this class. I am currently the president of the NACQJ, the National Association of Certified Quilt Judges, and Nancy is the Certified Judges Coordinator. We're both on the board currently. The Advanced Quilt Judging Seminar is a one-day class, and it's geared toward people who have already taken the two-day. It's also for people who are candidates in the NACQJ certification process, or people who are judging quilt shows but want to learn a little bit more. This workshop sharpens your judging skills. We go into a little more depth, and we go into the professional part, contracts and ethics and all the business aspect. We also help prepare you for the final portion of your certification, which is a live oral panel review. And so we help prepare you for that when you take this class. Yes, there will be lots of touching of quilts and learning how to make constructive, kind, helpful comments to people on their quilt entries. Both classes require you to bring some quilts so that we have quilts to examine. They do not have to be wonderful award quilts. In fact, it's better if they're not the best quilts, so that quilt judges learn how to make comments on all kinds of quilts. And there will be there's a supply fee. There's no prep really other than bringing quilts. There'll be a supply fee for both classes because you will receive a notebook full of much helpful information in both classes. So anyone have any questions for us?
I have one thing to add in, Kate, that neither one of us got really, really specific on. I think these classes help you, especially if you want to become a judge, focuses on professionalism and how to construct comments on quilts that aren't hurtful, that give the contestant, the entrant, good information about not only what they did really well, but how they could improve. Anybody? Questions?
We have had people come, as she said, people who are show directors. Sometimes guilds have sent their show director, Alex, to take our class. I know you're a little busy. But,
I would love to sit and listen to your class for 2 days. I can't think of anything I'd rather do more, but I suspect that's not going to happen.
Or if your guild wants to have a show, we'll talk all about the logistics of an actual judging and a quilt show. We've also had many long arm quilters come and take the class, not so that they can become a judge, but so that they can give better advice to their clients about how to decide on the quilting that will up the game of their quilt. So we've had all kinds of people take the class who never become judges, but they are there for a certain purpose.
And Alex, it's not all talking. We make you get up and touch quilts and throw around comments, and so we do a lot.
It does sound a little scary having people critique your quilts, though. That does sound pretty scary.
It's really not.
No.
It's really not. You should see the ugly quilts that I bring.
We definitely
I could supply a few of those for you if you need extra samples.
Yes. We really talk a lot about design and workmanship because that's what judges look. So all the principles of design, elements of art, all those things that quilters use in their quilt making, whether they are conscious of it or not. But that is what judges look for in your quilt, how well you've used all those principles of design to create a fantastic piece of art.
Sounds like you really could be quite strategic about creating quilts that are going to, get more awards and have that information applied into what you're doing.
We give you vocabulary to apply to those principles and elements that you don't know you're using. You know that these three colors work really well together for you, but will help you figure out why they do.
And how to say that to quilt entrance.
And how to say that.
Does anybody listening have any questions about the class? Do you ever have anybody do the 2-day class followed by the single-day class?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, often. And
We
I
have
will
go ahead.
Go ahead, Liz.
Oh, there's one question in the chat. It's just, what would you say is the most significant, important aspect of a quilt do you look for?
The combination of amazing design and meticulous workmanship.
That kind of sums it all up.
Yeah, it kind of does.
The top winning quilts will be the ones that have that best combination of that.
Yep.
So
Agreed.
we do, Alex, there are about 8 new candidates in the certification process. So you may get some signups soon because those people have been told about the classes. So
Okay, great.
yeah.
And I know they should be there at the show too, right? Helping with the
Right.
judging.
It is a partner show, so there will be many certified judges and many certification candidates at the show this year.
Yeah, it sounds like we're going to have a big gang helping out this year, which we're greatly appreciative of. And I don't think we mentioned whilst we were presenting, but Nancy is actually one of our judges this year as well. So we're working her into the ground this year. She'll be judging before she's teaching.
I've only been to this show before as a person from the partner show, and I'm looking forward to being behind the curtain this time.
Oh, well, we're looking forward to having you. Should be great. Okay, if that's it for questions, I think we'll move on to Cindy Seitz-Krug, who is next up on the agenda.
All right, there we go. Hi, everyone. Yep, my name is Cindy Seitz-Krug, and I also live in New Mexico, like Nancy Fuka does. So I'll be teaching for the first time this year at the Minnesota Quilt Show, and I teach domestic machine quilting. And I've been teaching that since about 1995. And right up front, we will be in the Bernina classroom, which I'm very thrilled with because I am a Bernina ambassador. But I'll be teaching you to quilt on whatever kind of machine you have at home. But at the show, we'll have Berninas in the classroom, so that'll be nice. So on Wednesday, I'm not as sophisticated as Teresa was with the camera down, but this is a little sample of my mastering machine quilting class. And so in this sample, you can see multiple techniques. So in class, we learn straight line quilting. We learn 3 types of feathers, free motion feathers. We learn stippling, we learn echo quilting. And then lastly, and I will say most importantly, I'll teach you how to handle your large quilts on your home sewing machine. Because, we can send our quilts out to a long armor, but many times we just want to learn how to quilt our own quilts on our domestic machine. Or maybe you don't have room in your sewing room for a long arm machine. So, but we all have a domestic machine, right? So I've been teaching this class for nearly 30 years, and it still amazes me that it fills up quicker than any of my other classes. So people still have that desire to learn the basics, the fundamentals of how to quilt their quilts on their domestic machines. And I'm really always gratified with my students when they tell me that I gave them the confidence and the skills, and I just empowered them to quilt their own quilts. So that's what we're doing on Wednesday. And that's an all-day class from 8:30 to 4. All right, and then on Thursday, I will be teaching a full day class called Gorgeous Gridded Quilting Design. So here's a little sample, and hopefully you can see. So around the center of that feather, there are some grid-based quilting designs. So I'm going to try to show some other ones that might show that better. But grid designs are when you draw a grid on your fabric, and then you fill them in with a whatever pathway of your stitching, and then you wash away the grid lines, and you're left with this beautiful, fabulous, symmetrical grid design. And people just think you're like crazy talented. Like, this is a Greek key design. This will be one of the designs you learn in class. So that day we will do a sample, something like this. This one's on silk. And you will have this little sample only has 4 grid designs, but what you'll learn in class are 12 different grid designs. I provide kits, and you just mark your 1-inch grid, and we go through the day, and you learn 12 different grid designs, and you're going to be so ecstatic at how easy these are to accomplish. So, and I always say grid designs are something like they have this synergistic quality about them, where when you put them, combine them with other designs, whether it's applique, piecing, or if it's a whole cloth and you've just quilted feathers, when you set those as a backdrop, they make your focal elements exponentially better than what they would have been by themselves. So grid designs are just absolutely beautiful, and they make your other design elements shine. So that's Thursday. So that's a really fun class. And then Friday, I'm doing, let me show a couple more. Here's a little grid sample. These are all diamond grid designs. So grid designs come in a multitude of varieties. So that's my favorite class to teach. I'll just tell you that up front. So fun class. Now on Friday, in the morning, I'm actually going to be doing a lecture called 20 Tips and Tricks for Better Machine Quilting. And this is a 1-hour lecture, a PowerPoint lecture, where I share all of these common issues that machine quilters have had, that I've faced as a machine quilter, and that my students have struggled with. And these are simple solutions to common problems. So they just give you these are these little light bulb moment tips that you say, wow, why didn't I think of that? Okay, so if I do that, that's going to make my quilting more easy, successful, beautiful. So that's a really popular lecture. So like I said, I just share 30 plus years of quilting, little tips and tricks to help you do a better job. And so you can enjoy it, because we all want to enjoy our time at the machine and be really proud of our work when we're done. So that lecture, that's 9 o'clock on Friday morning. And then lastly, on Friday afternoon, I'm going to be teaching fun fillers and background designs. And so here's a little sample with some different fun filler designs. Sorry, it's kind of hard to see. So these are not based on a grid. These are just fun filler designs so that you can set them behind whatever, if you appliquing or in background areas of your piecing, or even if you're doing a whole cloth quilt. They're fun filler designs. It's a 3-hour class. We learn 6 different fun filler designs. Here's a little sample of a little Christmas stocking with a whole bunch of fun filler designs, and you will be learning a bunch of those in class. So I hope you'll join me in Minnesota for my debut at the Minnesota Quilt Show. I'm excited to be there. So hope if you have any questions, fire them at me.
I've got a question. Sorry, it's Alex again. I've got a question to start. So if I've never done any quilting before, I'm a complete beginner. I can use a machine, not necessarily that well, but I can use a machine. Is the Wednesday class the class for me? Is it really a beginner class?
Oh, Yes, it's totally a big beginner class. And sometimes I feel a little not guilty, but because machine quilting has been around now, it's kind of the revolution was sort of in the 90s. And I'm so amazed that people are still taking that class in, just massive numbers because they want the techniques. But yeah, we start at the beginning. We start with walking foot quilting. I briefly talk about threads, batting, needles, and then we go right into about literally only a half an hour of walking foot quilting, and then the rest of the day is all free motion quilting. But yeah, it's totally a beginner class, but people who even have done multiple different beginning machine quilting classes, they always tell me, even within the first half an hour, wow, I already learned something new. Oh, I'm so excited. I never knew this. So yeah, you're gonna learn a ton of stuff, but it is a beginning class. And all of my other classes can be for beginners too. I mean, even if you've never done any free motion quilting, um, you can come to the other classes and I may tell you, well, I won't even tell you this because some people are just beginners like crazy good, right? But um, but I may say, hey, you're not going to go out next, 2 weeks from now and win a first prize at whatever Paducah or the Houston International Quilt Festival or at the Minnesota Quilt Show maybe next year, but because they've never done a stitch of free motion quilting in their life, but they're going to learn a lot. And some people are just have beginning skills that just boggle my mind. So all of my machines are geared for all of my classes are geared for beginners, but yeah, it any level you're going to learn a lot of things in my classes.
Oh, that's great.
Thank you. That it?
Does anybody else have any questions?
Just a comment. After all my hard work piecing a quilt, free motion scares the bejeebers out of me.
Hey, all I can say is be brave. I
Right.
tell everybody, be brave. Sometimes you got to just buck up and do stuff and just do it. Go in brave. You may be scared, but just go for it. I don't know. That's my advice to everybody. Be brave.
We all have to start somewhere, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
I don't see any other questions. Anybody have one? If not, we'll move on to Ruth, who is our right. Yes, Ruth is our fused glass teacher, and she is also our last presenter. So unmute yourself, Ruth, and
I did.
great.
I did. Are we ready to start?
Yeah, go right ahead with your presentation. Thank
Okay.
you.
First off, I really do apologize. My cold is making my throat so itchy that I'm going out of my mind, but I'm trying not to. I don't have any lozenges or anything in the house because why would you? And anyway, so if I do something strange, I'm sorry. And also, I really appreciate, quilting was never in my purview, but with all of your explanations, with all of your teachers and everything, it's really, really been interesting to just see some of the parallels that there are in artistry, no matter what it is. I have learned about clay, more hand building. I've learned about porcelain, just a variety of things, and mosaic and all these things. And there's always some common ground somewhere. And I really appreciated Cindy because she was. I'll get to mine, but I just wanted to say this. She was so cool because you don't have to know anything. You could just start. You just come, you do it, and it's cool. It's fun. You're gonna have fun. That's what I always tell everybody. This is gonna be fun. We're gonna have fun, whether you want to or not. You're gonna have fun. Anyway, but my name is Ruth Hansen, and I am the fused glass artist that I teach out of the Paramount Visual Arts. I also work with another woman who is going to be helping. Her name is Jenny, and she's a mosaic artist. Anyway, so I'm going to hold this up because this is my best way to do it again for the people who are on there. Again, this is a 6x6 fused glass, which fused glass is different than any other glass. It is not a mosaic glass. It is a specific fused, meaning, and I will explain this to everyone there, meaning that it has to go into a kiln, it has to be fired, all this type of things. The glass has to be made compatible, all this type of stuff. So this is a very, very interesting technique. The other thing also that I want to just show too is you will receive the holder. That will be stained and ready. You will take that away the first day that you're there. One of the things that we are doing for sure is we are going to do a 6x6, a 6 inches by 6 inches, and it is on white glass. That way, any color that we decide that you folks, I will try and have 5 or 6 color ways that you can use. These are basically cut to, I think it's 1 3/8 in squares. And out of those squares, we are very precisely making a cut so that they end up to be triangles, which this cut needs to be made very precise. Otherwise, it will not fuse correctly and it just won't look good. So anyway, we will try and have some different colorways for everyone. It'll be interesting to know if there are any specific colorways that anyone is really particular about. Having a white background, it would be kind of hard to do black and white. Well, actually it wouldn't, because the white could be in the inside, the black could be in the outside, this type of thing. But that would be very interesting to know. I've thought about the one that I have here, possibly a green colorway. I'm not a quilter. The colors I love are always blues and reds. And somebody actually told me one time that quilters don't like red. And I was like, what? Is that true? I don't know if that's true.
I don't think so.
No, I didn't think that was true either. I was like, red is a beautiful accent color. It's just gorgeous. So, and one thing also is they are breakable. They are glass. So they will be packaged in bubble wrap, which will, for the folks that are traveling, this type of stuff. That's super important too. If you were in the area and they broke, we could repair them, because I've done that many times. So right now, I guess at the time I can't think of any other questions. Did you guys have any more questions?
Maybe let them know a little bit about the firing process. So the class is going to take place on, I think, Thursday, right?
Thursday, Friday. Yes, it does have to take place on Thursday. I think we're doing either from 10 to noon or 9 to noon. We'll be able to take 20 folks. That is the maximum kiln size that I have. I can only do 20. We do have a very beautiful large kiln in our studio. It's right in the glass studio, because it will probably take maybe up to 16 hours, maybe less, to actually do the fusing itself. So that way, Saturday, I will be able to open it up and get all the work out of there. We'll make sure and have everybody's name and everything else. And then I'm not sure if I'm supposed to bring them down there, but we'll figure that out. But they will get done. The fusing process itself is, again, it will be explained in the class too.
Okay.
And we're very fortunate to have 4 kilns in our classroom. So I mean, we're very, very proficient fused glass studio, very much so. And we will have everything they need. They will learn about fused glass itself, as I said. That will all be on the board. We just want to make sure on that day, we usually don't do that many at one time. I usually only teach 8 at one time. So this is going to be an experience, but I figured it out. So we're going to get them in, and we're going to, have them do everything, and they'll understand what they're doing and why they're doing it. And of course, they can ask a zillion questions if they choose to. And I just want them to have a wonderful time, because it's something I have had one other woman make an actual quilt pattern out of an 8x8 inch glass, and it was absolutely exquisite. She only used 2 colors. I think one was turquoise and one was gold. But unfortunately, her grandson broke it.
Oh,
It
no.
was beautiful. I know. And she was, what do you do? But anyway, so it's very interesting when I was asked, because I was like, what do I know? What? I couldn't wrap my head around it. But then I started to do some what did I start to do? I just looked for information everywhere I could go. I actually talked to a quilter a woman who has done quilting for years. Yeah. So she kind of hedged me in some right directions too. And also, which I did not add, I have been teaching fused glass for well over 15 years. I teach kids, adults, men, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So and we just want to have a good time. That's the main thing, learn something, have a great time. Whether you've never done it before, that's fine. That's just fine. Anyway, so I'm really looking forward to, I'm not sure how many people I'll get to meet. I know I'll get to meet the 20 because we need 20 folks. Anyway, that's really all I can think of.
Right, and it sounds like you'll have a couple of different colorways available, and once people have registered for the class, we'll send things out to them and
Sure.
see which they want.
Yeah, I mean,
So you'll be prepared to bring enough of it, have enough of
totally.
everything, right?
Correct. No, and again, this is the perfect time for myself because I have so much teaching to do, and I have that lull in June.
Okay, that's good.
so that kind of, it was like, oh, okay, there goes my June. No, I'm just kidding. But we just like to laugh and have a good time. Yeah, it's fun. It's what it's all. That's what it's all supposed to be about.
We're super excited to be able to partner with the Paramount because it gives us the opportunity to add in some classes which are related to quilting insofar as, there are other techniques that quilters would be interested in, but traditionally can't be done in a convention center. So at the Art Center, we're able to do this wonderful fusing class. We're able to do some dyeing as well. We'll have people presenting later in the week about that, and wet felting, and also some weaving. So it's going to be exciting to partner with the Paramount and be able to bring in these different types of classes that we haven't done previously. So we're super excited to see the different combinations that everybody comes up with.
Well, the Paramount is amazing. That's the only place that I do have a studio in my home because who doesn't after Paramount after COVID, the pandemic. But it's still just the manager, Derek, they're all just wonderful to work with. They just are. So it'll really be an experience for everybody.
And for anybody listening that isn't familiar with the Paramount is a couple of blocks walk from the convention center. So it's a very short distance away. And as you mentioned before, I will make sure that those pieces go back to the convention center on the Saturday, so people are able to easily pick them up from our registration area.
No, that'll be great. And the bubble wrap, I'll probably, I will definitely double wrap them, even because I don't know how far away everybody is. And if you kind of put it in between your luggage, in between something, not on the top, not on the bottom, you should be just fine.
Okay.
But there's no reason why it shouldn't make it home. So, yeah. Okay. Is there any other questions?
I don't think so. I don't see any in the chat. Well, thank you very much, Ruth. And thank you everyone who joined us tonight. Last chance for questions, audience. Just unmute yourself and ask away. We do have quite a few participants tonight, which is great.
Shy participants, though. They don't want to ask any questions.
Right.
It's your first Zoom. They're shy.
And any of the faculty that are still with us, do you have anything that you'd like to add in that you forgot to mention previously?
I want to say, if anybody is interested or want to look at my work, my website is quintessentialquilting.com. I forgot to mention that earlier. Quintessentialquilting.com.
Great. Thank you.
And Cindy is also a certified quilt judge.
Yes.
Are we done?
I think we're done. Yes.
It sounds like that's going to be a wrap for this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you,
nice
everyone,
to meet
for
you all,
participating.
too.
And
Yeah.
just to remind everybody, we have another session tomorrow evening, same time, same place.
Is
And
that me? No,
who's joining us tomorrow, Liz?
yeah, that's not me.
Oh, we have, hold on, let me bring it up. I lost my place. Here we go. On Tuesday, we'll have Julia McLeod, Miriam Coffey, Colleen Carlson, Joe Muehlbauer, and Jamie Horn.
Great. Well, that's a great lineup for tomorrow. So
Yes.
we'll see everybody same time, same place tomorrow. And thank you everybody that presented for us this evening.
Yeah, thank you. Have
Thank
a
you
good
for the
night, all.
platform. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. How do